Hello and welcome to this lecture, and in this lecture we will learn about the arithmetic operations between a data frame and a series. So instead of performing operations within series or within data frames, we will try to add a series with a data frame or perform arithmetic operation between them. So if you could refer from the previous lecture, we have created this data frame number 2 over here, which is called as frame 2. And once we have this data frame over here, let's go ahead and create a series so that we could perform some sort of arithmetic between them. So what we will do here is that we will simply create a series and we will name it as series 2, and let's say this is going to be equal to series, and in this series we are actually going to pass in three values, which is, let's say, 100, 200 and 300, and the index is going to be equal to speed, temperature and humidity. So that's going to be speed, give a comma, that's going to be temperature, and the final one is going to be humidity. And once we have these values set up, let's go ahead and print out the series so as to see how this thing actually looks like. So when you run this code, as you could see, this is what the series actually looks like. So what we essentially want to do is that we want to add series 2 with the data frame 2. So if you could type in frame 2 over here, you will have a look at the data frame number 2. So we essentially want to add this series with this particular data frame so as to see what the output actually looks like. So let's go ahead and do that. And instead of performing the addition this time, let's try to perform a subtraction operation. So that's going to be, let's say, frame 2 minus, and let's subtract series 2 from this. So when you do that, so when you run this code, as you could see, now we have the humidity, speed and temperature values as follows. So what essentially happened here is that if you have a look at the data frame number 2, this is data frame number 2 right here, and this thing right here is series. So when you subtract the speed, which is 100 from 101, you are left with a 1. When you subtract 100 from 109, you are left with 9, and when you subtract 100 from 106, you are left with 6. And same is the case with the humidity as well. So as you could see, these are the humidity values, and actually it's showing us the humidity and temperature in minus values. Now practically it might not be possible, but as we have taken the data of that sort, it's actually showing us this result. But what we are concerned with is that if you could notice, each and every value of humidity belonging to each and every index, when matched up with the index values of this particular series, those values are actually subtracted. So if you have a look at the temperature over here, it's actually 200. So 200 is essentially subtracted from each of the values present in this particular data frame. Same is the case with humidity, and same is the case with speed. So this is how you could go ahead and perform arithmetic operations on a series and a data frame. And now let's learn what happens when you perform the same arithmetic in cases where the index don't actually match up. So as you could see, these two things actually were different, but their indexes were actually same. That is, the series actually had the index, which is speed, temperature and humidity, and the data frame as well has the index as humidity, speed and temperature. Now let's go ahead and create a third series, and this series is actually going to have only two values, that is speed and temperature. So what we will do in order to save time is that we will simply copy this series code. We will go right here and paste it over here. This is going to be series 3, and let's say we remove humidity from here, and let's name this thing as series 3 instead of series 2, and also make sure to remove the comma. So once you run this code, I guess we do have some sort of error. Okay, so we actually have to delete this value as well. So once you do that, and once you run this code, as you could see, now you have a new series value. And for the data frame, we are actually going to consider the same one, which is with these values, which is nothing but let's say data frame 2, which is frame 2. So now what we will do here is that we will type in frame 2 just to display the frame over here so that we could compare. And now let's type in frame 2 minus series 3. So once you do that and once you hit run, as you could see, the speed and temperature values are subtracted from the data frame, but as the series does not have a humidity value, we again get NaN, which is not a number because it does not find a relevant index in this particular series right here to subtract values from this particular data frame. So this is what is actually going to happen when you try to perform arithmetic between a series and a data frame. That is, whenever two index match up with one index in the data frame, it's actually going to perform the arithmetic, and whenever it does not find a match, it's going to display NaN. So that's it for this lecture, and I hope you guys were able to understand how arithmetic works between a series and a data frame. So this is actually one of the most important parts in data analysis, that is when you perform arithmetic between two different sort of data structures. So it's actually important to understand this thing and keep in mind how the arithmetic actually works. So that's it for this lecture, and in the next lecture we will learn how to sort the data frames and series according to their index. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.